is my sub 200 gram foamboard Scratchbuild plane. It has an old salvaged Bugs drone motor. I actually found a missing drone, and this is a motor that I found off of it. And it has, I think, like a 7-inch prop. I'm not sure of the pitch because these props just came with the drone motor. And I have a 12 amp ESC just direct soldered to the motor wires. And this motor's only capable of running on 2S because of the wires. The wires are so thin. And the drone originally runs on 2S, so that gave me the perfect opportunity to make it sub 200 because I have tiny little batteries. This plane can actually run on a 2-cell 800 milliamp hour battery. I also have this 2S 1000 milliamp hour battery. It should be capable to fly with this larger battery and still be under 200 grams or just at 200 grams. I think the all-up weight of the plane without the battery is something like 130 grams. I can show you the control surfaces. This is a bank and yank plane, but it only has two 9-gram servos. And so this servo has 2 arms coming off of it and just some paper clip push rods to 3D printed control horns. And when I move it, I have dual rates. Dual rates. So if I put it into high rates, they both move just like ailerons would. And then on the elevator, just another servo, just embedded into the foamboard fuselage tube. And the servo is actually okay in the back. I actually need tail weight because this is my first tractor or motor in the front on any of my RC planes. And this motor is actually quite large for a plane this size, so I can afford to have the tail servo in the back. This is a 20-inch wing, and it's rubber banded on to the fuselage with these bamboo skewers, and it has a KF airfoil, just basically 2 sheets of foam board layered on top of one another. This piece of foam board, the top thin piece is 2 inches and the cord of the wing is 5 inches. The fuselage is 15 inches long, and I believe it is 1.5 by 1.5 by 15 inches. 6.75 inches across, and I believe 3.5, maybe 4 inches cord. And it just has a little rudder on it. And this plane, I have the wings rubber banded on, so I can actually put this in a backpack and hopefully put a little FPV system, and it can be a really easily to transport by foot or by bike plane. And I have a little antenna, foam board antenna stand, just to get the antennas 90 degrees from each other. I have multiple hatches on the plane. One is for the battery, and another hatch is for the receiver. If I take off the wing, so you just undo the rubber bands, and as you can see, there's the battery. The servo goes through the wing, and there's a little cutout so it can also fit down into the fuselage. It can fold up, and it's a super compact assembly. Now, I chose this motor because I have like 4 of them because they're on a drone. And I'm not afraid if one of them breaks. That's why I can put it on the front of the plane. And it has a little plywood motor mount that I just hand cut and drilled. And this motor produces 200 grams of thrust on 2 cell. That's one of the main motivations to get this under or at 200 grams. So I could have a 1-to-1 thrust ratio, which is still pretty aggressive for such a tiny plane. But yeah, I wanted a 1-to-1 thrust ratio. I found that when this motor produced 200 grams of thrust, it pulled about 6.5 to 7 amps from the 2-cell battery. It was actually easier than I anticipated to get this plane under 250 grams. All I had to do was just leave the wing uncovered with packing tape. This little 1806 1800 kV motor. The motor is actually also kind of nice because it's much quieter than most of my other motors. That might be due to the low kV or just the large propeller or just the motor being a good quality.